the best possible explanation for the spread of Christianity after the crucifixion of Jesus was that they found Jesus to be fully alive, bodily alive. They also found the empty tomb. They not only saw him, they touched him, they had meals with him, and this certainly was the best possible explanation why the miraculous spread of Christianity in the Roman Empire that was determined to eliminate his name from history. The first century Jews, some of them, did not believe in a resurrection. Others did believe in a resurrection, but not like the one that happened with Christ. They believed maybe the resurrection would happen at the end of the world, or it wouldn't be a bodily resurrection, just a resurrection in spirit. The argument that the resurrection was the projection of their wishes is not very strong, because Jesus rose not the way the apostles, or some of them, thought he would. He rose in a completely different way. Now, in early Judaism of the first century, and all through Judaism, there was not a great separation between heaven and earth. They were together. We heard the reading of creation from Genesis, when God made the world. And Yahweh walked in the cool of the evening with Adam and Eve. Heaven and earth was together. But then through disobedience, it all changed. Yes, our self-rule, rebelling from God, separated heaven from hell, or heaven from earth, and created a hell itself. We only have to look around the world today and see how heaven has been separated from the earth, and people live a life completely independent of God. Yet the early Jews believed that the Messiah would come to bring heaven and earth together. And the temple was a symbol of that. In the temple we have the Holy of Holies, where the high priest once a year would offer a sacrifice to bring heaven and earth together, that we all long for. As we long for the running waters, like a deer longs for the running waters. The resurrection brought heaven and earth together. It was a new creation. Things were not to be the way they were before. In the old world, pride and violence prevailed. Slavery prevailed. But now there be a new creation. The resurrection is not so much about life after death. Well, it is about life after death. But it's also about us engaging in a new way of living in which we never knew before, in loving God, in loving our neighbor. And this is what the resurrection did for us. The resurrection set loose a power so strong It would remake what is broken. He would heal what was toxic. He would also restore what was lost. We can imagine in our own lives those moments when heaven and earth come together. And that's what the resurrection was all about. The Easter appearances of Jesus are flowing with love. We look at the conversation between Mary Magdalene and Jesus, or Peter and Jesus after the resurrection. He calls them by name. They were sorrowful before. They were afraid. They were anxious. But he told them that they were forgiven of any of their faults of the past. Mercy would prevail. The Gospels all end with the story of the appearances of Christ. That's not the end. That is the beginning. The beginning of a new kingdom where things are different. Where what Ezekiel the prophet has finally been fulfilled. That God will give us a new spirit and a new heart to love Him in a way that we haven't loved Him before. And then we can say, or He will say, "You are my people." Yes, and He is our God. This evening, we celebrate in a very special way 7 people who are entering into the mystery of God in a special way. Tonight began in darkness. And then we had the lighted candles. The lighted candles, of course, are the light of Christ. But they also are the light of these 7 individuals, these 7 persons who are going to enter into that mystery of Christ, to be engaged in loving others in ways in which they have not loved before, and the ways in which Christ loved. These 7 individuals in a way are similar to the Israelites to cross the Red Sea. They went through the waters, and this evening 6 of them will pass through the waters of baptism to be free, to liberate themselves from slavery, but is holding them back. They are willing to die to their false self, but so as to live to the true self in Christ. That true self will bring us all the happiness in the world in our lives. So we welcome these 7 individuals in a very special way, and we rejoice with them. And they are an inspiration to us that we also can renew our commitment to be engaged in the kingdom. Christ has risen. Now we are in the process of rising also in a very special way to come closer to Him.